the Russians are in panic mode. What was once an unchallenged advantage in the skies has turned into a nightmare for the Russian military. After a Ukrainian F-16 shot down a SU-34 bomber, chaos and disbelief spread through Russian ranks. For months, Russian bombers have had free rein, dropping glide bombs on Ukrainian cities, but recent Ukrainian counterattacks have shifted the tide. Unexpectedly, the Ukrainians have set effective traps, causing the Russians to lose valuable aircraft, including 2 A-15 jets, each valued at $350 million. And now, the loss of a Su-34 has further shaken their confidence. In today's video, we'll dive into the escalating situation and the surprise challenges Russian forces never saw coming. Strategic advantage and international implications of Ukraine. The arrival of F-16s in Ukraine marks a significant shift in the conflict. Although Ukraine is still awaiting more jets, the quick adaptability of the Ukrainian forces to these aircraft is impressive. Around 20 F-16s are expected, with 10-12 operational at any given time due to maintenance needs. While these planes may not be a game-changer, they symbolize continued Western support for Ukraine. In August, Russia launched its largest missile and drone strike against Ukraine, costing an estimated $1.2–1.5 billion. Despite targeting key infrastructure, most of the missiles and drones were intercepted by Ukrainian defenses, and the F-16s played a crucial role in this. The strike, which hit 15 of 24 regions, resulted in civilian casualties and raised significant humanitarian concerns. However, Ukraine's defenses, aided by the F-16s, mitigated much of the damage. Initially, sending fighter jets to Ukraine was seen as too risky, but as the war progressed, NATO began supplying advanced weaponry, including tanks, HIMARS, and fighter jets. Zelensky had long requested F-16s, and in August, the first batch arrived, marking a milestone in Ukraine's efforts to level the playing field. Countries like the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, and Belgium have pledged F-16s, with further deliveries expected in the coming years. The U.S. F-16 delivery position: new fighter plane models would be too expensive for them to donate. One apparent question remains. The U.S. hasn't sent any. Why? Since it hosts its manufacturer and spends the most on defense, America has the most F-16s. The U.S. Air Force operates 800–900 F-16s, with around 1,000 decommissioned fighter jets. It forms the world's most feared Air Force alongside other aircraft. However, U.S. President Joe Biden has ruled out sending F-16s to Ukraine. As mentioned previously, worries about conflict escalation may explain this. A proxy battle between Moscow and Washington and its supporters is underway. Proxy warfare has levels, and involving the Air Force is greatly advanced. Joe Biden's allowing other nations to send combat jets is incomprehensible. Without his permission, European countries couldn't send American-made equipment abroad. This suggests another theory. Washington may be testing the waters with a small force before launching the larger fleet. The U.S. should remove hundreds of F-16s from the boneyard, according to experts. Though time-consuming, this is logical. We know that NATO's assistance keeps growing in this battle. Ukraine's Air Force issues and prospects. Ukraine's Air Force initially struggled due to outdated Soviet-era fighter jets, losing air superiority early in the conflict. By mid-2023, only 56 functional aircraft remained. Russian reports claimed Ukraine lost around 90 planes early on. The Kyiv pilot's supposed success in downing multiple Russian jets was likely a fabrication to cover up the Air Force's poor performance. Ukraine's 2023 counteroffensive failed in part due to air support issues, with the lack of air superiority being a key factor. However, Ukraine downed roughly 700 Russian planes and helicopters throughout the war. The addition of MiG-29s from Poland and Slovakia helped, but these older jets were still vulnerable to modern Russian missiles such as the R-37M, which could evade the MiG-29's radar. The MiG-29s also struggled with defending against cruise missiles, leaving Ukrainian pilots at a disadvantage, especially against Russia's superior Su-35s. These jets have longer ranges, stronger radar, and advanced electronic warfare capabilities, making them harder for Ukraine's pilots to engage. Ukrainian pilots faced constant risks, flying low over enemy territory and depending on Western air defense systems like Patriot and Hawk to stay safe. Combat capability and battlefield impact of F-16. Western air defense systems like Patriot and Hawk have improved Ukraine's air defense, but modern F-16s offer superior capabilities. These fighter jets excel in radar, targeting, and electronic warfare, giving Ukraine a stronger chance in air-to-air combat. With their advanced air defense systems, F-16s can intercept cruise missiles and drones, providing mobile air defense. They are equipped with AIM-9 Sidewinder and AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles, and the M61 Vulcan gun for last resort strikes. F-16s can also counter Russia's glide bombs, which are dropped from Su-34 bombers. Ukraine can push Russian planes back, preventing glide bomb attacks. Additionally, F-16s are equipped for long-range strikes, with Ukraine potentially receiving 200-300-mile missiles. While these missiles are limited in availability, they can disrupt Russian logistics and military strongholds. The F-16's capabilities in ground warfare are also significant. Ukraine can use these jets to target Russian heavy armor with cluster bombs and Maverick missiles, similar to successful air campaigns in Iraq. Modern aircraft could shift the battlefield, making it harder for Russian troops to advance and giving Ukraine opportunities for breakthroughs. However, Ukraine's need for a larger fleet is clear. While F-16s provide advantages, President Zelensky demands 128 fighter jets, with experts suggesting 216 F-16s to ensure air superiority and the ability to conduct effective strikes. Ukraine versus Russian air power. Russian air defenses present a significant threat, with an extensive network of long, medium, and short-range SAMs, including systems like the S-300, S-400, Buk, and Tor. These are supported by numerous radars and electronic warfare stations capable of jamming and misleading enemy systems, making it difficult for Ukraine to gain air supremacy near the front lines. If F-16s are used, they will need to fly low and avoid detection. Air defenses are distributed across vast areas, making it challenging to eliminate them quickly. While targeted attacks can help, Ukraine's limited resources and infrastructure complicate matters. Modernizing air bases to accommodate F-16s is crucial, but difficult as Russia could target them, and the bases need significant manpower and defense. Additionally, training pilots and mechanics on the F-16 has taken time, contributing to Ukraine's delayed access to these fighter jets. Ukrainian pilots have been trained, but they lack combat experience with F-16s, which are significantly different from their usual MiG-29s. This was tragically highlighted by a recent incident where an inexperienced F-16 pilot died after shooting down several Russian missiles and drones. The accident sparked political outrage, leading to the firing of the Air Force commander. This underlines the challenges Ukraine faces in integrating the F-16s effectively. The process of acquiring sufficient combat experience will take months or even years, meaning the F-16s are unlikely to be a game-changer in the short term, much like the delay in receiving Western tanks. Ukraine's Air Force future and Russia's response. It was insufficient to achieve progress. After these disclaimers, Ukraine has substantial advantages. A long-term perspective shows this. A major benefit is the integration of Ukraine's Air Force with the West's defense sector. Ukraine struggled to use NATO munitions on Soviet-era jets. English Storm Shadow and French Scalp G missiles needed special frames to launch from Ukraine's Su-34 fencer. For some aircraft bombs, designing takes years or is impossible. Ukraine can finally use Western armaments with its new fighter jets. NATO has large F-16 ammunition inventories, and the missile factories are still operating. Ukrainian counterattacks are generally limited by ammunition, making this crucial in a long war. Kyiv and its allies know aerial campaigns work. Ukrainian rockets embarrassed the Russian Black Sea Fleet. The Ukrainian Air Force should perform more of these operations. Logistics and industrial capability win wars. Ukraine's partners can simply repair and maintain the F-16 logistically. One of the fighter jets with the most spare parts, it's made in the US and Europe. This allows NATO to operate Ukraine's fighter planes 24/7. The alliance can test F-16s and air-launched missiles in Ukraine. Westerners can learn a lot about fighter aircraft combat performance in real war. The current fight may be the toughest the U.S. and its allies have fought since the Cold Fight. This puts these forces at risk of not knowing how effective their weapons are and what requires improvement. Now is the moment to test any new F-16 technologies. AI-controlled F-16s may have received too little public attention. The U.S. Air Force Secretary flew an autonomous fighter jet, demonstrating its superior technology. Whether Ukraine will use this is unknown. Now is the moment to test this technology in battle. For safety, bombing Russian targets without humans is best. Also, it will follow drones naturally. Essentially, autonomous fighter jets are drones with combat capability. As a spillover, other fighter jets may be sent to the front. If the F-16 is beneficial, alternative planes should be considered. Britain, Germany, and others deploy Eurofighter Typhoon fighter jets. The defense ministers of Ukraine urged them to send some jets forward. France announced it would send Ukraine an undefined number of homemade Mirage 2005 fighter planes. It will train 4,500 Ukrainians for this. Many aircraft are involved. Qatar, the UAE, and Greece, which bought them from France years ago, will likely repurchase them. Operating this dissimilar system alongside American and Soviet models is difficult. But considering Ukraine's predicament, any support is welcome. Allies should consider different bombing and reconnaissance planes. 5th-generation fighter jets like the F-22 and F-35 are unlikely to appear in Ukraine. The sensitive technology on these fighter jets makes them risky to utilize in these wars. If one crashes and reaches Russia, it's devastating. We also consider Russia's response. Kremlin Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov promised to shoot down Western-made F-16s over Ukraine. He was also dismissive, claiming these deliveries will not affect frontline events. It's a coping mechanism since they said different things last year. Russia warned the West of huge hazards if Ukraine received F-16s. Although these threats were empty, they indicate how afraid the Kremlin was. Unfortunately for Putin, his Air Force may not down all F-16s. His fighter jets are no longer superior, as we've stated. It's also evident that these fighter jets threaten the Russian military. This may be the hardest pill for the Russian president to swallow. The West is sending its most famous weaponry to war. Most importantly, it shows NATO's resolve in Ukraine. The war is harder than Putin predicted, and it will get worse. Please subscribe to the channel to be updated on Ukraine and other difficult situations worldwide. Thanks for watching our videos. We strive to provide timely and appealing information. Comment your ideas below. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye, and see you.